The following is a HoopBall presentation.
Hello, and good morning, or perhaps good afternoon, wherever you're listening, and welcome to the HoopBall DFS Today podcast. I am your host, Mike Patrio, joined by my good buddy, Brenton Eckersley. We're here to break down this wonderful Monday, January 11th card for you guys. We have a 8-game, surprisingly to some of us. We'll get into that in a second. Joke on my buddy Brenton over there. Not 10-game, 8-game card to talk about with you guys. A little joke on air, a little just digging at my good buddy over there. But Brenton, how are we doing over there today?
Oh yeah, apart from researching 2 games that apparently don't exist, Mike, I'm doing pretty well. I'm very interested to roll down my notes here and see what magical games I've conjured out of thin air because I have 10 games notes here, and I'm interested to see which ones don't actually exist.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We're talking on air. Brenton's like, "Oh man, I'm ready for this 10-game card," and I paused. I got nervous for a second. I was like, "What did I miss?" 10 games. And he's like, "Yeah, 10 games." Like, "Are you sure?" We looked into. We figured it out though. We got it. We're on the right track. Brenton's
at least I'm on the over. I'm on the over rather than the under.
In the future, that's what it is. This is future picks right here. You got the crystal ball broken out. But before we jump into anything, guys, just a quick shout out to our presenting sponsor. Guys, if you haven't already, check out mybookie.ag. I get asked almost on a daily, whether it's on the podcast, just in person, my personal life. People always ask me for betting tips, and I always get asked, who do you want to play, whether it's like, the Lakers, the Clippers. Maybe it was one of these playoff games today. And I tell them what I tell you, and it's the same thing. It's where you bet is just as important as what you are betting on. And that's what I tell people is to go bet with MyBookie. MyBookie's reputation is the most solid in the industry, and they got the best odds, contests, and promotions in the business. They're not only the only place I trust to handle my NBA bets, they're the only sports books guaranteed to give me the best lines for the national championship game, which is, guess what, guys? It's tonight if you're listening to this show, January 11th. We have more NFL playoff games we could jump on. You know me, and you know that I don't give out my stamp of approval very easily. To earn it, you got to be one of the best at what you do. And MyBookie is the best sports book out there, period. It's simple. Sign up, use the promo code HoopBall, HOOPBALL, and you get your deposit matched halfway on up to $1,000. So you put in $1,000, they'll give you $500 for free. So head over to MyBookie if you want to add excitement to the sports you love and get into the games that you want to bet on. So MyBookie, promo code HoopBall. And then, as you guys know, I am very passionate about Manscaped. They have absolutely phenomenal products, and they are all over the board in what you need. So whether you need a nice little trimmer, they have the Lawnmower 3.0, waterproof, battery lasts up to 90 minutes. It is a quick charging battery as well. You can go over there, get the ear and nose hair trimmer. That thing is absolutely spectacular. That's probably one of my favorite products. I got it about a month and a half ago. Thing's phenomenal. Uses about 9,000 RPM motor, 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. It's intelligently contoured design, enhances the trimming experience, and is waterproof, again, like all of their products. So what do you need right next to your sink or next to your bathroom? You need waterproof products. So, guys, go check out Manscaped. Use that promo code HoopBall20. That's HOOPBALL20. And you will get 20% off plus free shipping on any purchase that you make. That's any purchase. It can be anything from the conditioner to the body wash, up until the whole kit if you want, which I highly recommend because once you get one product, you'll probably end up piecing it together anyway, and you'll spend more that way. So, but use that promo code HoopBall20. So, Brenton, we have some games to jump into, 8 games to jump into, believe it or not. 8 games. New York Knicks, Charlotte Hornets is the first one that is popping up on our docket over here. For the Hornets, on the injury report, Cody Zeller has been listed out. Knicks have yet to submit their injury report for us. The cheeky Knicks over there keeping it kind of quiet. And then as far as a spread, guess what? We don't have one yet for this game. So a little bit of an interesting game. Some things definitely to look at with the Knicks. On the second half of a back-to-back, Julius Randle, 9,600, Brenton. I haven't been really sniffing too many shares of him, and it might cost me more money than it's earned me, but what are you doing with this guy?
Yeah, I think at the moment, if you're not playing Randall, it is probably costing you money. 9,600 for Julius Randall is just, wow factor. I can't believe we're paying that much for this guy as we are for some of the other guys on this slate, like Trae Young. It's just crazy. But he's basically been exceeding everything throwing at him. He's putting up a stack of DK points every time out. And his lowest DK return in the last 7 games has been 38, and that was against the Raptors, not the Hornets. So look, this is a defensive matchup, a dream matchup for Randall. He's put up 360-plus DK points in the last 7, with a 59 thrown in there for good measure. So look, I just don't see how you can't play Randall against the Hornets, where they are just leaking fantasy points to big men.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, I've been off of Randall pretty regularly, but this is a slate I honestly think I might find myself with a share or two. Just looking at some of the other priced up guys, we have Westbrook most likely expected to sit. Doncic's now up to 11-3, and it's in a nice matchup. But now he's right in the likes of Lillard, which I prefer him over Lillard. Beal, that's a toss up, but Beal's going against one of the tougher defenses in the NBA right now, so I probably prefer Randall in that matchup. Trae Young's a little hobbled. And then now we're starting to get down to some guys he's a little bit of a tier above at the moment. So I could definitely get in on a little bit of Randall on this slate specifically. So outside of him, though, who else are you looking at on this Knicks team?
Yeah, just before we do that, I've got a number of guys. I don't often play big price guys in my lineups, but there's a couple I'm pretty interested in here, and Randall is definitely one of them. Look, honestly, outside of that for the Knicks, Elfrid Payton, 6,400. That would only be a real GPP kind of target for me. The difference between this guy's floor and his ceiling can be about 10 to 15 DK points. So he's just a bit of a risky option, in my opinion. I don't mind him against the Hornets backcourt, but yeah, I just think we can do better later on. And the same thing here for RJ Barrett, 6,900, probably a little bit priced up, but he can have his nights. The Hornets haven't been guarding the 2 as well as they have the 1 for fantasy point production. So yeah, that may. I'm probably not playing either of these guys, to be honest. And Austin Rivers is now priced way up at 5,300, and that's just way too much salary for a guy who I think put up less than 10 DK points tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Go on, Mike. Over to you.
No, that's it, man. You hit the nail on the head, man. It's just Randall for me. If you wanted to take a stab at Barrett, sure. Same thing with Peyton, but like you said, I think we'll have better options. So we'll slide over to the Hornets side of the ball. LaMelo Ball, I mean, he's got to be the centerpiece in the story of things to talk about. Dude's showing out, and he's having a phenomenal season so far as a rookie. He's starting to get a little bit more increased minutes, which is going to be a scary thing once he sees him as far as stats, because this dude just stuffs it. 7K now, though. He is getting a price boost. The matchup doesn't necessarily scare me away. I almost wish it was in the Garden, because it would be a guy that loves the cameras, loves the lights, and he would be in his first game in the Garden. But nonetheless, what are you thinking about him?
I think he's fine to play here. I think that price is not quite up to what his potential output is. I mean, I think he's just come off a 61-point feast against the Hawks, and Charlotte aren't much better really at defending the backcourt. So 61 against the Hawks, 41 against the slightly tougher Pelicans backcourt as well. I've got a lot of interest in LaMelo Ball if he's going to keep playing like this, and I can't wait for this kid to start. I think it's time to get him in the starting position. He's obviously got the skills and the confidence to do that. So, yeah, I've got interest in LaMelo for sure.
And what about these other Hornets? I mean, we have Gordon Hayward. He's probably the other guy that most people might take a good look at. 7,900. He's a guy that I'm keeping in my player pool. It's a fine matchup, not somebody that I'm overly gravitating towards, though. I think I'd rather play LaMelo at 900 less, especially in tournaments, just simply because of the upside. But not a lot else for me on this side of the ball, so I'll grab your thoughts real quick, though.
Yeah, no, I'm passing on the other two backcourt guys, Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier. Don't do it for me at those prices of 5,800 and 6,500 respectively. Pretty much pass at both those starting guard spots for me. Look, I'll always have interest in Gordo. 7,900. That's a fine price for him. I think the pace is probably going to be down a little bit against the Knicks, but apart from a couple of mid-20s outings against the Grizz and the Mavs, he's been showing a pretty much a 40 DK point floor. So that's where this price is at, and he has upside of, well, he dropped a 61 point return against the Hawks, so I'd have no problems playing him here, and I will just pass on the rest of the Hornets.
Absolutely. We'll keep it moving to the next game. Memphis Grizzlies traveling to Cleveland, take on the Cavs. As far as the injury report, for Memphis, Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, John Morant, Jonte Porter, Killian Tilly, Justice Winslow, all ruled out. For Cleveland, Matthew Dellavedova, Dante Axum, Darius Garland, Kevin Love, Kevin Porter Jr., Dylan Windler, all ruled out, while Colin Sexton with that left ankle sprain is being considered questionable. I would consider him probably more on the probable side of things. And as for a spread, I actually believe we have this one, which is, this might be the theme, guys, going forward during this season. We're going to have a lot of days and nights before where there's no spreads, there's no game totals with health protocols and just the factor of injuries, everything going on. We'll be lucky if we can get half a slate half the time right now. But Memphis is getting 3 points this one, 218.5 total. Cleveland, like I said, being favored by 3. So we'll start off on the Memphis side of the ball. We'll start with the away team. What are you looking at over here, Brent? I mean, this is kind of like a dumpster fire of two teams that are very inefficient and play zero defense. So it can either be one of those games where we're looking at, a 240 game total when it's all said and done, or we're looking at, a nice solid, 170. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes either way. Who are you looking at, though?
Yeah, I think that game total was a little low that you read out then. But look, to be honest, Grizzlies side of the ball, I'm really not looking at too much here, and that's a funny thing to say when you're playing the Cavs for fantasy. But I'm just not too interested in Tyus Jones at 6K. That's it's too much for that dude. Even if he is the starting point guard, I'd just worry about upside with him. It's too high for me to trust. He's only reached that value once in 5 games as the starter. Pass there. D'Anthony Melton, 3,800. That gives us a pretty nice low salary option if we need it somewhere. He's actually returned, 22.75 and 25.75 on his last couple, and he's played 21 and 22 minutes. So, look, it's hard to trust. We don't know which way these minute splits are going with so many guards in the rotation. You've got to think about Grayson Allen, Desmond Bane as well. And, I'm just kind of passing on most of these guys with maybe a little sprinkle of Melton if I need some value. I'll just jump on small forward or the wing before we keep going. And Dylan Brooks is not for me. He's shown a couple of small upside games, but that's been against poor opposition. We need to keep that in mind. When you go back through, the last 10 games of a player, make sure you check the opposition because, when he plays against good teams, the fantasy production just isn't there.
It's not there a lot of the times anyway. Brooks is he's very Harrison Barnesy to me.
He
is.
It's
just guys I just don't find myself playing because overwhelming. More often than time they're underwhelming. And then when you watch a game and they're in there, who enjoys watching? I'm not saying they're bad basketball players. I'm sure they got friends and family out there that love watching them play. I'm just not one of their friends or family. So. I'm with you, though. Just Anthony Melton for me over here on the Grizzlies. I love this kid. I think he's going to be a stud as his minutes start to creep up there. He's slowly been seeing his minutes rise game after game since returning from the COVID health and safety protocol he was going through. And, we don't know exactly whether or not he had it, what the thing was, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer for guys to come back when they're dealing with something like that. So we got to take that into account. But eventually this guy, I think he's better than Tyus Jones. He's better than pretty much anybody on their bench, better than Grayson Allen. Bane, that's up for debate. Different position, different skill set necessarily. But Melton's a real deal. And if this dude is going to be playing low 20s at 3,800, he's a great point per minute guy. So I like him for a value play. On the Cleveland side of the ball.
Oh, before we go there, can I just drop in another one?
Drop him.
Jonas Valanciunas, 7,200. He's got to be a pretty good target tonight up against the Cavs centre rotation. He has been pretty much good for 30 to 40 DK points every single night without lighting the world on fire. But against the Cavs, this should definitely be closer to 40, I would have thought. And I reckon he may even get past that. We have to keep an eye on what's going on with him with COVID. I think he tweeted out on his personal account that he's right to go. But, just keep an eye on the news. If JV's ready to suit up, I'll play him against the Cavs every night.
Yep, you are correct. He does. He did say that he should be good to go. I don't mind JV. I'm always on JV just simply because of the point per minute ability that this guy has. He can just rack it up. It's just always about the minutes with him, usually under 30, high 20s. And we have a lot of center options, so I don't mind that call. I just don't know if I end up falling on him with, especially some of the value that we have at center that we will get to. But on the other side of the ball, we have another center that we need to start off with, Andre Drummond, 9,200. Starting to kind of pick things up a little bit. The field goal percentage still not what we want to see. That's been a big struggle of his throughout the season, and a lot of it in due part. And I don't try to take credit for things that I did not say. So this is going to pain me over here, Brenton. But Santino said something that was kind of knowledgeable and made sense. I don't like to admit that, but
Oh man, just lean into it, let it go.
Yeah. I mean, it might as well. That's what it feels like. It feels like I get a slap. No, and Drummond, the percentage is going to be down as long as Sexton's out and Garland's out. He needs one of these guys to help him create. He can't be the guy. I mean, we saw that Shaq in a full play that he pretty much made. He needs some help down low. He needs some help to help somebody set him up. He needs a couple oops, some easy baskets, some putbacks. A lot of the offense is actually getting forced to him, and it's very unfortunate because his percentages are suffering. And I know it's DFS. We don't care about percentages, but we want to see him make more shots than miss. Those will equal better games. Nonetheless, 9,200, I don't mind him. Not one of my premier options, but it's Andre Drummond. I'll pass it over to you. Why don't you talk about Drummond? Why don't you talk about some of these other Cavs that you have interest in?
Yeah, for sure. And I watched that video as well, and I just had it on repeat for about 5 minutes with tears rolling down my face. It looked like I thought my video had stopped when he was just standing there holding the ball, and I could see everybody else running around him. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen happen on a basketball court. But moving on to fantasy, I like this price for Drummond. Look, he's had a couple of low returns in the last week or so, but then he came out and gave us 63 against the Bucks. So I'm not really going to say much else there. Valanciunas is a kind of tough kind of matchup for centers, but Drummond's never really been discouraged by this kind of defense. I've got no problems going there. If we just slide into the backcourt quickly, Garland is still out, so the chalk play is always going to be Colin Sexton if he is in. He's obviously going to be handling the ball a whole heap more with Garland out, so he still gets his shots as well. 6,800, I really like Sexton in this matchup. Sorry, guys. The Grizz aren't great at limiting backcourt guys either, so not a bad play there. Damian Dotson's minutes are just too hard to predict, even with Garland out. One guy I do have a little bit of interest in is Chetty Osman, 5,900. He's been burning it lately. The outside shot is falling, and with these shooters, it's worth just sticking with them until the shot goes away again for DFS. I think he can be considered relatively trustworthy anyway. So he's been pitching in nicely with a handful of rebounds and gave us 7 assists in each of his last 3 games, which is pretty impressive for a wing type of player. He does handle the ball a little bit, obviously. So I like a bit of Chetty Osman there too. What about you?
Yeah, I don't mind looking at Osman if Sexton sits, because I think that's kind of where a little bit more of that facilitation came from. When they don't have Sexton, obviously they lost Exum for a length of time. No Garland, no Dellavedova, not even Dylan Windler at this point. So they kind of were forced to play a little bit of point Osman and point Dotson at times. Dotson's the guy that's technically starting at the point when Sexton's out. I'm not really interested in too many of these guys other than, like you said, maybe an Osman if we do see that Sexton's out. I don't mind taking a flyer on Andre Drummond, but everybody else feels priced right. Sexton, 6,800, I can see playing him. I don't expect him to be limited if he plays. Keep that in mind. They're going to need him. If they're going to play him, they're going to play him. Cleveland's not necessarily out here, going to risk Sexton to further his injury and, make it worse or anything like that if he's not able to go. So I wouldn't mind taking a shot on him, but I'm not really too interested in this game as a whole. So I'm ready to keep it moving.
Let's do it.
Next game, Milwaukee Bucks going against the Orlando Magic. For the injury report, the Bucks, Giannis probable, Torrey Craig out. Orlando, Al-Farouq Aminu, Michael Carter-Williams, Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, all out, as well as Chuma Okeke. And then Evan Fournier is being considered questionable. This game at the moment does not have a game total, does not have a spread. Nice of them to do that. We'll slide over to you, Bren. Talk about this Bucks team. What can we expect from them?
So let's start with the monster in the room, I guess, and it's Giannis. I'm not going to attempt the last name. I rarely do. But everybody knows who I'm talking about.
Antetokounmpo.
And Antetokounmpo. There you go. I got it too, but I don't like risking it on the fly. If I stop and think about it, I can do it, man. But yeah, let's just stick with Giannis for now. It's easier. So 11K, like, I don't often play this guy, and it's, risk of blowout, risk of low minutes, all that kind of stuff. 11K doesn't scare me off here for this guy against the Magic. I just think there may be more reason for me to play him here tonight, where I may usually just walk away from one of the highest guys on the slate. I know we've got another one coming up, but I just have a feeling that the Magic may be able to keep this a bit closer than other teams. And if we can get Giannis up to, 32, 33 or even more minutes, then that 60K DK point limit is there's a potential to blow it away. So I like the look of Giannis here. I'm going to have him in some shares where I don't normally roster a whole lot of high-priced guys. How about you? Can you play him?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to, do I play him over Doncic?
That's it.
I don't think I do. I just think that the Bucks have the ability to put the Magic in a blender in this game. They're going to probably end up rolling out Cole Anthony again. Cole Anthony is a rookie who struggles from the field mightily. He did in college. I think he shot like 30-something% in college, and he's been struggling mightily from the floor in the NBA. He's going to be prone to turnovers. He's going to have the clamps of Drew Holiday and Dante DiVincenzo all over him all game. And then outside of that, Aaron Gordon's still kind of on a minutes limit. It's basically going to be the Vucevic show, and just hoping that these other guys between, Cole Anthony, Gary Clark, James Ennis, that these guys can, keep up with this tempo that the Bucks play at. It's an up-tempo game. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a tough battle for him. I'm probably going to, I'm not saying fade this game. Like, Giannis is always in play. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see myself going to this game all that often. We have 8 games on, and, we talked about these first 3. I'm probably going to get a majority of my guys in the later games, to be honest. The next game I do have some interest in, but this game as a whole, I can pick and choose a couple guys I don't mind, but guys, not too many I'm going to be overweight on.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, Luka's the obvious spot here, and we'll get to him in that Pelicans matchup. But I still just, I will be tinkering with Giannis in a few lineups tonight, I think, and see what I can come up with.
It's a great contrarian play, especially for GPPs. And I don't even know if you could call it contrarian when it's Giannis. I mean, he's going to have some decent ownership, but it'll definitely be less than Luka's.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see, making that pivot. And when you say any given night, Giannis outscored Luka. Yeah, I'm real shocked. No, we're talking about 2 of the highest caliber best players in the NBA. That's going to happen any given night. To go out there and just, say with 100% certainty that Luka's going to outscore Giannis, I can't do that. But I'd probably put my chips on that side of the table if I had to bet.
Fair enough.
What about anybody else? You talked about Giannis. So obviously, you have to, if you're willing to play Giannis, you have to be willing to play some of these other guys. Because the only time you fade Giannis or you're completely off of him is if you're just kind of worried about that game script. So Holiday, Middleton, DiVincenzo, Lopez, the other 4 starters that we're looking at, any of them entice you?
Yeah, there's a bit of interest on this side of the ball, and yeah, I'm a little bit with you. I don't play the Bucks very often, but I don't mind this matchup. Drew Holiday's going to basically be playing on Cole Anthony, who's a rookie. So yeah, good luck to that guy. Drew's kind of steadied this ship a fair bit lately, and at 6,900 there is upside there. Middleton at 8,200, he's had a little price bump, $500 there. Had a few quietish games in the last week or so, but yeah, really, 8,200. I think he can exploit Orlando and get past that as well. He had a 50 game against the Jazz during the week, I believe. The other thing to keep in mind is if Giannis can't go, Middleton pretty much becomes a lock. And the only other buck I've been grabbing of late, and I've been joking with Dave and on the podcast over there on Fridays, is Bobby Portis. I'd hate playing this guy. I don't like the dude, but 5,800, there's two ways this can go. Bobby Portis comes off the bench and is up against weaker opposition and continues to play minutes in the 20s and gets there, or Giannis is out, Bobby Portis comes in, starts and gets there that way. So I like Bobby Portis in this one too.
All right. Yeah, no, I think I'm probably hop off Bobby. I cashed in on him last game. I played him all over the place when Giannis was out. I played a ton of him, played some Middleton, and then I rolled out of there. We collected my winnings, and I feel like going back to Bobby Portis just feels dirty for me right now. Orlando's side of the ball, though. Who are we looking at over here? I kind of gave my piece on these guys. Cole Anthony's up to 5,600. I'll take a hard pass on that. And I think, push come to shove, if I had to play any one of these guys, it might be Aaron Gordon at 67. Vucevic's always in play, but we have better center options, in my opinion. So it's probably just maybe a little Aaron Gordon, slight bit of Terrence Ross. But that's it for me. What about you?
Yeah, I probably won't have much to do with Aaron Gordon. I have played him a fair bit lately. I just want to, just stay away against the Bucks defense on Gordon. But I do like Terrence Ross, 6K. He's been a little bit off lately. Had a couple of absolute wild disasters. I think against, I can't see who it's against, sorry, but 22% from the field in one game and then 25% from three against the Rockets. If Ross misses shots, you may find yourself in trouble because there's not a whole lot of other stuff going on there for him. But, with Mccollum out, there is obviously some minutes and some usage to happen here. It's going to happen, and Ross is the usual microwave off the bench. Vooch, I like targeting centers against the Bucks. Robin Lopez is very happy hanging out at the 3-point line, and
you got ahead of yourself right there.
Why?
You said you said Robin Lopez.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, you mean I know what you meant. You
know what?
I just you scooped him in our fantasy league, and now you're so excited to see what he's going to do for you tomorrow.
Exactly why, man. Because as soon as Thomas Bryant went down, I was on that waiver wire and picking between Robin Lopez and Mo Wagner. So that is exactly why he's on my mind. I apologize, guys. Brook Lopez likes to hang out at the 3-point line. Vucevic is going to muscle him around a little bit, 8,900s. There's a little bit of meat on the bone in that price left. And again, as you said before, Mike, there's usage to go around here. Vooch is going to grab plenty of that with Markelle Fultz out. And as long as the guards can get him the ball, he should be fine here.
Yeah, that's a good call because the increased usage, it's still too underpriced for what he does. He makes sense if you wanted to run it back with somebody. If Orlando stays in this game, Vucevic's having a massive game. There's no doubt about it. We'll slide on to the next game. Phoenix Suns going against the Washington Wizards. Again, this one, no game total, no spread. A lot of it probably due because we're still waiting to see a few things on the injury report, some things we already know, but we'll have to monitor some. For the Suns, campaign doubtful, Jalen Smith out. For Wizards, Thomas Bryant, as we know, torn up his knee a little bit, torn ACL out for the year. Russell Westbrook has been ruled out with that left quadriceps soreness. So Wizards are going to be a little hobbled. Phoenix, I'll keep it frank. Mikal Bridges coming off of that fantastic game. If you want to chase the game, I won't blame you. He's a good player. I probably won't do it, though. I don't see myself going. This is a fantastic matchup for the Sun. I just don't see myself having too many shares outside of if you wanted to play like a Devin Booker. Even then, he's pretty much just been returning value, and I wouldn't be shocked if Phoenix just crushes him right here. Without two of their best players, no Thomas Bryant now, no Westbrook for this game. It's going to be the Bradley Beal show. And this defense, this team, Phoenix has been out of this world this season. So I'll probably take a hard pass on just about most of these guys, like I said, outside of a Booker. And if you're desperate, maybe Javon Carter with campaign doubtful. How about you?
Yeah, I don't have much interest in the Phoenix backcourt. We haven't seen the ceiling Devin Booker yet. Well, we may have seen him, but it's been on a rare occasion. 9,600. 9,600, is that correct?
No, I'm getting 7,900.
Okay, I've taken some incorrect pricing off of the showdown slate here, I reckon, Mike. So apologies, everybody. I might just have to check in with you on a couple of these, Mike. So what was it,
7,900 for him.
Yeah, that's still too high for me on Booker at the moment. Chris Paul, I'll pass on at the moment. He's just nowhere near what we need in DFS. You mentioned Mikal Bridges. Honestly, guys, don't chase. I try to chase as little as possible. We know what Mikal Bridges is as a player. We know what his floor is. It's 27-30, and his ceiling's probably more like 40. And don't chase guys that have a massive outlier like this. You'll probably just end up getting burnt. It's the best advice I could give you. Ayton, price for Ayton, please.
7,300. Or 73.
Yeah. Look, Nothing overwhelming has been happening for DeAndre Ayton, that's for sure. But we're now talking about a Washington team with no centre, or they're going to have to play backup centres here to cover the injury to Thomas Bryant. So Ayton could really smash through that price, I think. I don't mind it. Keep it close, maybe not. The Wizards probably don't keep it close, but I don't mind a look at it. Look at Ayton there. The only on the other side of the ball for the Wizards, the only guy I'm really interested in is Hal Neto. Whenever Westbrook does not start, you can have a look at this guy. One problem there, Chris Paul defense. Yes, so that may be just a fade as well. Value plays, Mike. Are you having a look at whoever may come in here at center for Washington?
Not really, no. Not in this matchup. Maybe in a different matchup we could take advantage of it. I'm expecting just a kind of like a big split between Rui, Bertans, and Lopez. Wagner will get thrown in there too, especially if they're going to need someone to help stretch the floor. So don't be shocked if we do see some Bertans at the 5 and we see some Wagner at the 5. That's kind of what they're going to be looking to do. Bryant offered that in their starting lineup, and it was something that they love to have. It comboed very well with Westbrook, that he could stretch the floor. Westbrook could crash the glass and still come up with those guard rebounds for him. So it wouldn't shock me if we start to, slowly see them go that way. But Lopez, he'll probably end up drawing the start. I'm expecting anywhere between 22 to 25 minutes from him. Maybe he gets a little bit more. If he does hit that 26 mark or more, he's a great play at 4,100. So I'll look at Lopez. Outside of that, I'll be playing Ish Smith, 4,400 for the exact reasons that you said. You kind of like Raul Neto, and that you didn't like him. Going against Westbrook, I just think that's a terrible matchup. I expect Ish Smith to, really take on some facilitating roles. He's probably going to, check in maybe 6 minutes into the game as soon as Chris Paul's checking out. So I'll take some shots at Ish Smith at 4,400. Just Robin Lopez, and I'll call it quits right there.
Cool.
Let's keep it moving. Philadelphia 76ers going to Atlanta to take on the Hawks. As far as injuries go for Atlanta, buckle up.
Have a BLT the Carl's Jr. way for just $2.99 with charbroiled beef, creamy ranch, and more beef. The new BLT Ranch Double Cheeseburger for just $2.99. Part of charbroiled double deals at Carl's Jr. Feed your happy. Offer valid for limited time at participating Carl's Jr. restaurants. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
PPG, the paint pros know and have trusted for over 135 years, has added something new to the mix. An extended lineup of PPG products now at the Home Depot, like PPG Speed High, Multi-Pro, and Breakthrough. In stock, available for easy pickup, or, to make things even better, we can deliver right to the job site. A new lineup of PPG products, ready to go, ready to work, available now from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only.
Bojan Bogdanovic, Chris Dunn, Danilo Gallinari, Double O, Rajon Rondo, all ruled out. Tony Snell, Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Bruno Fernando, all considered probable. For the Sixers, Seth Curry, Terrence Ferguson, Tobias Harris, Furkan Korkmaz, Shake Milton, Vincent Poirier, Ben Simmons, all ruled out. Mike Scott is probable. Joel Embiid is probable.
Ooh.
This is a doozy. So we'll start it off, Brenton. I'll let you take this. Go for it, man. 76.
Gee, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Hey, but
yeah, I don't even think I need to say there's no spread and no game total.
Okay, cool. Before we move into players, you and Santino are copping out with this double O business. Say the dude's name.
Don't make. All right, Onyeka Okongwu.
That's close enough.
Onyeka Okongwu. I'm getting it.
I was running through some of the funnier names for my 8-year-old, just pulling them up on the internet and getting him to try and say them. And I pulled that one up for him, and he just nailed it. Onyeka Okongwu. I can't even do it. And he just nailed it at 8 years old. I loved it. It was very funny.
If you clip that, put that on Twitter, and watch that thing go viral, man. That's impressive. I'll give the credit where it's due. That's impressive.
All right, let's jump in. So 76ers, Simmons, Curry, out. Talking backcourt here. Yeah, everyone's darling is going to be Tyrese Maxey, 4,700. It basically puts a low salary guard in one of the best spots of the night against the Hawks, and it's going to be tough not to play him. I can see the reasons for the fade, and that is just because this guy's going to be so high owned after the performance he put in during the week. But yeah, anytime Atlanta or Trae Young is your opposition, if Trae Young suits up, you are in a really good position to dominate. So you probably can't expect 39 actual points, and that's a good reason that this kid got so many DK points for us, over 60. But tell you what, at 4,700, he needs half that to get through that value. Will you be playing the kid?
I'll have some shares for sure. I mean, this is a great matchup for him. I'm not expecting the 30-plus shot attempts because Joel Embiid is probable for this one. This offense is going to run through Joel Embiid as long as it stays close. So between those two guys, they're my two primary targets on this game. I think they're both spectacular plays. Like you said, the Maxey fade is warranted given the ownership that we're going to expect to follow him. That's the only reason you're faded the kid, though. Yeah. 4,700. He's not going to get 30. I would expect 15, 14 minimum shot attempts. He's going to primarily be playing point guard, and there's a lot of value to come with that position. I wouldn't mind some Danny Green just because we know that he's going to have to take some shot attempts too. He took 17 in that last one. Again, tone that down a little bit. It's not going to be 17, probably more like 10 to 12. But the defensive stats are always there for him as well. The steals, the blocks, the other things. So 3 guys that I don't mind taking a look at. I'm not going to be going to chase the Paul Reed or anybody that's starting in the front court outside of Joel Embiid. That's going to be fool's gold if you do. I'm just going through those 3 guys.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess keep an eye on the news. If Embiid does happen to sit, I think he's probable, isn't he? Should be playing, yeah. But if he does happen to not quite suit up for this one, then you got to have a look at Tony Bradley at 3,300. That is the only other guy I'd be targeting here. I won't be playing Embiid if he is in.
All right. What about this Hawks side of the ball?
Yeah, interesting. I'm not going to play Trae Young. Dude is obviously, there's something wrong here. It's a massive risk at the salary as well because we don't know how this game's going to end up. It could be just an absolute demolition. 9,400 is too much for a guy in that position. I think I'll just pass right there. Cam Reddish, hit and miss pass on him. Even with, Bogdan is out, correct? So I think I'll just skip through the Atlanta Wings. DeAndre Hunter.
Herter and Reddish, I would expect to see be the biggest beneficiaries with Bogdan out. They're going to need somebody else that's going to be able to spread the floor a little bit.
Yeah, out of those 2, I'll take Kevin. Cam Reddish, I had played him a little bit early in the season, but he's just become up and down. I will pass on him. And DeAndre Hunter is the only other real guy I'm having a look at, I think. 6,200, that's a pretty strong play, and there will be usage there with Bogdan out. pretty good floor. Yeah, he's got a good floor at the moment, around 30 to 35 DK points. So this 6,200 salary, that's not too bad. He may be more of a cash play. There's not a huge amount of upside in Hunter. In this game, I will pass on Collins and Capella at those prices.
Yeah, so I'm looking at two guys, and that's it. I'm not touching Trae Young. I'm not touching Capella. I don't think I'll be playing Hunter just because I'm more of a GPP guy, like you said, probably better suited for cash.
Yep.
I don't mind looking at Reddish or Huerter if I had to pick one. I want to say Huerter, but with Reddish, being the more healthy of the two and a little cheaper, I can see that, both those guys in play. And I don't mind looking at John Collins at 7,400. I just don't know who's going to be really guarding him. He should be able to take advantage of just about everybody on this kind of riddled Philly team. He's going to get a bunch of rookies and, guys that are used to guarding guys like John Collins, following him around. So I don't mind taking a stab at him. I don't love the price tag. I don't love the recent game logs or anything to do with them. But it's definitely a get-right moment for him. And with Trae Young, like we said, he is hobbled. He's dealing with a wrist injury. It's something that he's been, he didn't even go through contact in practice, although he's going to play. It's definitely something that's bothering him, and it's evident over his past few games. So for that reason, I don't mind taking a stab at Mr. Collins at 7,400.
Fair enough, Ben.
Keep it moving, though. We have a few games left. New Orleans Pelicans traveling to Dallas to take on the Mavericks. As far as an injury report goes, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Josh Richardson all rolled out. Maxi Kleber, and get this, Kristaps Porzingis considered questionable in this one. As for the Pelicans, Steven Adams questionable. He's dealing with a migraine. I do not expect a migraine to keep Steven Adams out. I've had migraines. They are the worst thing on earth. I would never wish them on my enemy, but Steven Adams is also a tank. So it takes a lot to keep that guy out of a game. So we'll have to monitor it nonetheless. So we'll start off with this Pelicans team. We already know who we're looking at the other side of the ball. We might as well just save our time and breath. But who are you looking at on the Pelicans?
I've got a couple of targets here. It's probably the bigger names more than some of the, more than the guys in the backcourt. Let's just put it that way. Lonzo, he needs to be around 5,500 for me to show any kind of interest in him, and he's at 63, so I'll just pass on Lonzo. I'd love to see him get some defensive counting stats into his score. I'm just not encouraged at that price. Bledsoe, similarly, had a few good games out there a little while ago, but he'd probably need to be less than 6K for me to have interest in him, and he's 6,100. I'd play him over Lonzo Ball at the moment, but I'm not playing either of these guys. Have you got interest in backcourt guys here or not?
No, Lonzo's kind of. I mean, this is a matchup where they could easily take advantage, especially with some of Josh Richardson being out and some of these other backcourt guys being hobbled. Brunson and Richardson are two of their best perimeter defenders. So there's definitely the room for them to take advantage of it. With this slate, do I find myself going there all that much? Probably not. I'm not going to cross them off. I do like them better than a lot of the guards that we've already talked about, but it just so happens to be that there's a couple of guards in these last two games that or I guess last 5 teams that I just like more than these guys. So if I had to pick one, push come to shove, I'd probably play Lonzo over Bledsoe. Not with much confidence, but just the simple fact that if I trust his peripheral stats, and if his shot falls, it's even better. I'll take it as a bonus. But if Adams happens to sit, would you look at anybody between Jackson Hayes or
no?
Would you Zion? Would we expect a 15 rebound Zion game?
Zion more than Jackson Hayes. I tend to get sucked into that. Hey, this dude at this price is really cheap and he's starting. I don't want to do that here. I won't be playing Jackson, but yeah, moving on to Zion and the other guy in the room, Brandon Ingram. I think both of these guys are really, really good targets here. I don't know who the Mavs are going to throw at Zion Williamson to try and stop him. 7,800. He's got a really safe floor at the moment, and he did have a couple of low ones at the end of 2020, but he's bounced back really, really nicely, and that's been up against some pretty tough defense as well. So I like him here. His lowest in the last 4 outings is 31 DK points, still hovering right around 40. And yeah, against this Mavs depleted kind of unit, anything could be possible for Zion. BI, Brandon's always in play at the moment, and also Dorian Finney-Smith is out, I believe. So I would have expected Finney-Smith to play some minutes on Ingram and make it tough for him. But if that leaves Tim Hardaway Jr. at the defensive end taking on Brandon Ingram, I don't know what the ceiling might be here. The floor is probably 40 DK points. The ceiling could be 55, 60. I think BI is probably one of my favourite plays.
I love Brandon Ingram. I love this matchup for him. You hit the nail on the head. I love it. The only thing I don't love is the price tag, just simply because there's a couple of guys that, taking position eligibility out, Vucevic, $300 more, push comes to shove. That's going to be a tough call. A couple of guys that are cheaper, one of them we'll get to in the next game at the exact same position that I just like a little bit more. I definitely think he's in play. I prefer him over Zion. I want to say that very, cautiously, because if Adams is out, I think both guys get a boost, just because Ingram he's no slouch on the glass either. Don't forget that this guy has permanent double upside as well. So I think both those guys would get that boost. But I do like both of them. I just don't know if I'm going to end up landing on either one of them all that much. And when push comes to shove, the discount between Zion and Ingram might just be enough to make me, push my way towards Zion a little bit more. Outside of that, I'm not playing anybody else on this team.
Nope. Fair enough, man. And I can see your point of view there. All right, I've covered my Pels. You take your Mavs and let's go to Luka.
Yeah, that's it. You don't even need to say let's go to the Mavs. I mean, we could. I've been getting some value. I had some Trey Burke value in the other night. I made sure I jumped all over that. But yeah, Luka Doncic 11-3, highest priced player on the slate. This is a fantastic match for him, up-paced matchup. Kristaps may not play. That doesn't really impact him too much. It's just, maybe a little bit of usage, but we're not going to expect a whole lot of minutes from Porzingis anyway. He's not in our player pool. He's not going to be on the radar. Leave him there for somebody else if they want to get all excited about it. Not playing Tim Hardaway Jr. at 6,700. He could pay that off with the usage that he'll be getting. Nonetheless, there's just better options, in my opinion, that I'd rather go to. And like I said, I don't mind looking at a Trey Burke. He's just going to be a high volume, high usage guy for them. 11 for 13, that's not going to happen. I'm not expecting 40 DK points again. He only played 21 minutes, but he came on ball. This is a good matchup for him. And expect the shot attempts to be there. 13, 12 shot attempts, those will be there. It's just he's not going to hit them at an 80-something% clip every single game. So that's it for me. It's really just going to be a little Luka and just maybe a hair of Trey Burke.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm actually not chasing the Trey Burke outlier. I know he's got minutes coming here, but 4,500, and he's going to be another little darling of this slate where everybody's like, Trey Burke just had a massive game. Cool. That came on 29 actual points and 4 of 7 from downtown with only 4 assists and 0 rebounds. So if that shooting disappears, you've left yourself a little bit of a hole there. So I'm just not going to chase that one. Luka. Just play Luka. I love this price, 11-3. Like him over Giannis. I think I saw a spread earlier that had this game staying fairly close at around 4 points. So if we can get something above 30, even pushing into 35 minutes for Luka Doncic, you just play him every night. Pelicans' defense is definitely tougher than it was last year, but it certainly doesn't scare me off of playing Luka here. I think it's going to be the Luka and Ingram show.
Yeah, and then there is somebody else that I didn't mention that we could take a look at, especially with Dorian Finney-Smith out. And the more I think about it, the more it makes sense as a value play. And it's James Johnson, the enforcer himself, the black belt. So many things that we could call him. Luka's bodyguard, the real reason they brought him in. But he played 26 minutes in that last game with these injuries. He came out, put up 28 DK points. He's only 4,100. We know he's not the most efficient and most offensive, talented type of guy, but the blocks, the steals, the rebounds, he could chip in a little bit with the assists. He's definitely a guy that I think we could look at. And it does make sense knowing that there's going to be Zion out there. We may see, Maxi Kleber find himself in trouble, and he's also questionable in this game, especially if he sits. That definitely makes James Johnson a play for me.
Yeah, cool. What about the forgotten man, Willie Cauley-Stein?
No, thank you.
No, thank you?
Nah, I just don't like him. I don't think he's good at basketball. I don't like this matchup for him. It's not terrible. It's not great, but Steven Adams is not a guy that I want to pinpoint. If Steven Adams sits, maybe. But then we're also, throwing him in there with the likes of some other cheap centers that we've already talked about, like, when a push comes to shove, Willie Cauley-Stein or Robin Lopez. Who would you play?
I'd have a couple of shares of both. I'm not completely sold on Robin Lopez either. So, yeah, I don't know. It definitely becomes more interesting if Adams is out, that's for sure.
All right, let's keep it moving. 2 games left. Before we go any further, guys, stop what you're doing. Pause it. I'm giving you the nice permission. When the podcast host says you can pause it, just give a quick pause. And this was a free announcement, guys. It's a free announcement. It's free stuff. Everybody loves free stuff. What's the stuff? It is the Bruise Letter. It is back. Oh, yes. It's fresh. It's back for the 2021 NBA season. Our founder, Aaron Bruski, is writing an email newsletter filled with his most intimate fantasy nuggets. It's exclusive content you cannot find anywhere else. It's not on the website. It's not on the podcast. It's not on social media. It is only in the email newsletter. There's only one way you can get it, and you can sign up for it, and you can get it for free. Just go to bit.ly/BruiseLetter2021 and sign up in 10 seconds. Again, the site is bit.ly/BruiseLetter2021, and you can get Aaron Bruski straight to your inbox. And while you're at it, guys, sign up for the Fantasy Pass. It is worth every single penny. $4.99 a month gives you access to all of the wonderful things that we have going on over here at HoopBall. Season-long stuff, DFS stuff. We have Discord. We have articles. We have behind-the-scenes content. All of it is at your fingertips for only $4.99 a month. Or if you want interested, you can just get the DFS stuff. That is an even crazier price of $1.99 per month. That's less than a cup of coffee nowadays. So it is well worth it. We're pumping out some wonderful content. We're all putting in some blood, sweat, and tears over here. And you guys are getting it awfully cheap. So drink our tears, enjoy them, and get that cheap content. So 2 games left, Brenton. Toronto Raptors going against the Portland Trail Blazers. As far as injuries are concerned in this game, Zach Collins out. Raptors have not yet submitted their injury report, and it's because they're playing tonight. And then as far as a game total, 233.5 game total, largest spread, or tied for the largest spread. I lied. Yeah, tied for the largest spread that's been released so far. And Portland is being favored by 4 points in this one. So we'll start off with the Raptors. I have some interest in the Raptors. I don't love these guys' price tags, Brenton, but I mentioned it on the show last night. There's one guy I was on tonight. I haven't checked to see how he's doing. I don't need to. I'm going to be all over him again. And it's Pascal Siakam at 8,100. I absolutely love him. I'm going to keep playing him. I think this is too cheap. He will be 86 to 8,700 before we know it. And it's one simple thing. He is playing the 5. Give me him. He's not supposed to be playing power forward. He hated playing power forward. The coach made a change. He's playing the 5. Norman Powell's in the starting lineup. I expect this to be something that they continue doing going forward. Rebounds aplenty. Going against your boy Yusuf Nurkic over there, who is struggling to stay in game shape right now. That it came out, they said that he needs to get his breath back under him. It's going to take some time. He spent the offseason in Bosnia with his family. So I just think this is a great matchup for Siakam to take advantage of. So I'm going to continue to go back to that well. I don't mind Van Vliet and Lowry. I don't love their price tags. That's the only thing. We're not really getting a discount on either one of those guys. So for me, I'll take some shots on Siakam. I'll take some shots at Norman Powell at 5K now he's in the lineup. And, maybe the occasional Chris Boucher dart throw in GPPs, but that's it.
Okay, man. Yeah, look, I'm not really high on Siakam. I get the center position thing. I think it's a tough matchup, though, trying to go against Nurkic. I know they're completely different players. I'm just leaning the other way on Pascal at the moment. So, 35 kind of DK points, but against tough defensive units. That's what I'm trying to spit out here is he's only really had a ceiling of 35 DK points. And, playing centre makes it a little bit different. It moves him off of Robert Covington defence, that's for sure. So I don't mind it. I'm just probably not sold as much as you are. I'm actually pushing more into the backcourt here for the Raptors. Most of us playing DFS know that Portland do not defend fantasy points very well at the guard positions. Lowry, 8,200. Freddie Van Vliet, one of my favourite guys at 8,500. I wouldn't usually play Freddie over Kyle, but I think Kyle's got the better matchup here against Lillard. I'll probably be playing a fair bit of them both. I think there's upside here for both of these guys.
I love the spots for them. I think they're both phenomenal spots. I just don't know if I end up landing on them due to the price tag. And I know I'm going to have some Siakam shares. So how much of Toronto do I overload on? It's a great total. You could play two of these guys easily. I just don't know if I will. And I get what you're saying about Siakam. I love the rhythm he's in. We're talking the past 3 games, including tonight, over 45 fantasy points. He put up 45 tonight, 51 against Sacramento, 51 against Phoenix. And the rebounds are up over all 3 of these games. So he had 11 rebounds tonight, 9 in the last, 9 in the one prior. So that's kind of what I'm attributing. I'm expecting also a little bit of more of an offensive force. And for every reason that you say it's bad against Nurkic, it's good in the same breath. He's going to get bullied down low. Don't get me wrong. But Siakam's not a guy that we're necessarily playing for those defensive stats. And I don't know if Nurkic's going to get enough run to necessarily force him into foul trouble unless he does it super, super early. Outside of that, he's going to be able to just take him up the floor like it's his job. That's what I'm anticipating. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm with you. I think Van Vliet and Lowry are both in excellent spots as well. But are you going to be playing any Powell at 5K?
Yeah, if he's starting, I will. 5K is too cheap for a starter on the Raptors team. And, Derek Jones Jr. is pretty much out there for only defense if Powell's playing the 3, but doesn't really scare me off. And Powell's got to come good some stage. So 5K for Norm Powell. We'd look at that last season and just bang him into lineups. So hopefully he can turn things around. And, if he's getting a bit more run with the starting unit, it's an excellent price.
What about on this Portland side of the ball? I mean, we just talked about some of these guys that are going to get taken advantage of because of their defense, but could we expect anything from Lillard and McCollum? I guess we have to expect something from them offensively, but enough to play them in DFS.
It's tough at these prices. 9,700 for Lillard. He's obviously found his shot now. Really struggled at the start of the season, but I just think 9,700 we're probably paying up for guys like Luka before we're paying for Lillard. CJ McCollum has just been on fire. He had a couple of pretty quiet games back the beginning of this week, I believe, or last week, and then just came out against the Kings with 51 DK points in 29 minutes. That's a monstering. That's cool. I know you don't like to play CJ much, but I still do. Freddie isn't the easiest matchup on the other side of the ball, but I think you still have to have some lineups with CJ in them again tonight. Solid floor, pretty big ceiling. Hopefully the game stays close and I'm right and we can take advantage of some points there.
I say it all the time, Brett, and I hope people listen to this show. And if this is your first time, write this down. Shooting guards versus the Kings. It is a thing, and they will continue to cook them. I don't play McCollum. I'll tell you what. I had a couple shares. It's a shooting guard versus the King. It's the only time I probably played McCollum all season long, to be honest. I don't pay that 8,800 price tag for him. As hot as he is, I'm expecting things to kind of return back down to earth. Eventually, he's been just kind of shooting out of his mind. I won't be playing that price tag, 9,700 for Lillard. It's Lillard. I get it. A little bit too much for me. Nurkic's starting to creep up there. Until we see the minutes back up, I'll probably take a pass. I was kind of anticipating a lot of that was due to just blowouts, and it probably was. But now that they came out and said a lot of it has to do with game shape, I'll take a pass until we can kind of see it get up there at that price tag. But there is one guy I do have a little bit of interest in. Let me get your thoughts on him. Not somebody I say very often, and that's Cantor, 5,100. Don't love the price, but I do love the matchup. He's going to continue to play right around 18 to 20 minutes or so, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But the rebounds have been off the chart. And now that they're starting to see Siakam at the 5, we're talking about an extremely large bench for this Raptors with Aaron Baines, with Chris Boucher, and with Alex Len. So we should see a fair amount of Cantor off the bench regardless. So at 5,100, I have some interest in him.
Yeah, that's a pretty good call. Well, like you said, big bodies for the Raptors out there. So if Nurkic is puffing and blowing a little bit, then Cantor will continue to see minutes. So yeah, I don't mind the call. I actually didn't have him noted down here, but I'm just going to grab my pen and note him down now.
All right. Anybody else on the Blazers you're looking at before we jump into this final game?
Nah.
All right, man. Let's keep it moving. Final game. Indiana Pacers going against the Sacramento Kings, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game. For the injury report, Pacers, Goga, Jeremy Lamb, and TJ McConnell, along with TJ Warren, all out. Jalen Lecque and Brian Bowen, the second, are doubtful. Jeremy Lamb's actually edging towards a return, so something worth monitoring, especially with TJ Warren out. He'll probably eventually slide into that starting role instead of Holiday, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. And for the Kings, Buddy Hield, Rashawn Holmes, both questionable. DeCon Jeffries has been ruled out. So we'll start with the away team, the Pacers over here. It's a great spot for these guys, but who are you looking at?
Yeah, you've already touched on, Sacramento defense, basically, and how you love the target shooting guards. Well, I think you can target both.
Take it from me.
I am going to take it.
Sold it.
Yeah, you did, man. You let the cat out of the bag early, and I'm going to run with it. Victor Oladipo, 6,900. He's going to find himself in an absolutely beautiful spot tonight versus the Kings. 6,900. That's got a fair bit of value taken out, but I still think we can play Depot a little against this terrible Kings defense. No props. Backcourt dudes, Brogdon as well. Although I think Brogdon's in a great spot here as well. 8,300 against the defending team who gives up the most fantasy points at point guard. I think that's a great price too. He's pretty much, monstering this price at the moment. His lowest score in the last four is 43.5 DK points, and he's hit 55 or better in 3 out of the last 4. There's not much else to say. You can target both of these guys. Sorry, Mike, have I taken everything out of that for you?
No. That's perfect. Oladipo and Brogdon are 2 top targets. I don't mind Sabonis, but then we have to, start juggling. Do we like Sabonis more than Randall? Both those guys are in a phenomenal matchup. So I think when push comes to shove, I prefer Randall just by a slight edge.
Did you just put Sabonis and Randall in the same price bracket and the same?
I didn't. Imagine 3 years ago. When I think Sabonis was kind of, with the Thunder right before they got rid of him. I never thought we'd be saying this. With Oladipo, though, now this is worth monitoring for everything I just said about shooting guards with the Kings. If Buddy Hield is out, Tyrese Halliburton will probably draw the start at shooting guard. He's probably going to draw the start at shooting guard either way. And now we have to keep an eye on things. This rookie is excellent defensively. He managed to shut down some of the best guards and wings in the league so far that when he's been matched up against them. That being said, Oladipo, he might teach the rookie something. He's in play for me. Just I think I actually might be paying the extra price tag for Brogdon in this one. It's something I'm monitoring. I will have shares of both. I'm just probably going to just lower my ownership of where I would normally be with, shooting guards versus the Kings. Maybe if I was playing, a shooting guard versus the King in about 60 or 70% of my lineups, I might be more like 40, 50. Still going to get all over it. But just, I'm going to proceed with caution knowing that rookie's going to be on the other side. So let's slide over to that side of the ball, though. Talking about that, De'Aaron Fox, 7,900. Hield at 64. If he doesn't play, Halliburton at 62. He's going to be an extremely popular play. And for everything we just said about him being good defensively, the guy on the other side of the ball, Oladipo, is not bad himself. Who are you looking at over here, though?
Yeah, for the Kings here, I'm probably just passing on most of them except for Tyrese Halliburton. 6,200. Amazing start from this kid. The price is starting to get up there, but it's still not matching the potential output from Halliburton. He gets points, he gets assists, he gets a few boards, and he gets the defensive stats as well. So this might be the only place I'm willing to put money into for the Kings. The only other real dart throw here is if Richaun Holmes can't go again. Hassan Whiteside got 20-odd minutes in the last game. I don't want to play him. You don't want to play him, but if he gets 20 minutes... Oh, you do? Yeah.
I want to play him.
20 to 23 minutes of Hassan Whiteside is sometimes worth 30 to 32 minutes of another centre. So at 4,200, it's, worth a look. We need to know what is happening with Holmes, though. I'm not going near Hassan if Holmes is in.
No, and you said it perfectly. 22 minutes of Hassan Whiteside is 33 minutes of any other center. If anybody watched that game, that last game, we saw Marvin Bagley play the 5. He cannot play the 5. He cannot play defense whatsoever. Yes, I get it. Whiteside has his miscues. He sucks. He could block shots, but he's really not that good defensively. They need him. If Holmes does not play, especially going against a double big front court of Sabonis and Miles Turner, I wouldn't be shocked if we see 28 minutes of Whiteside. I just don't think we're going to see. I mean, we might still see 28 minutes of Bagley, but they're not going to be able to go as small as they did in that last matchup. So nonetheless, if there's no Richaun Holmes, Whiteside becomes my favorite center play on the slate at 4,200. I will be overweight on him. Now it's the last game of the slate. We're not going to have all that news available. Make sure he's in your utility spot if you could. I don't know if I'm going to lock him in as my immediate center play just because I won't have that news. I'll probably put him in util. And there are some pivots off of him. We talked about, you mentioned Willie Cauley-Stein. That's where it comes into play. You can pivot off of Willie Cauley-Stein at the same price tag and just get a Hassan Whiteside. And that Dallas game doesn't start until 8:30. So we get an extra hour and a half to hopefully have the news on Richaun Holmes. If we hear, great. Go to Whiteside. So I'm all over Whiteside if Holmes sits. That being said, if Holmes plays, not playing him at all. Other than that, I'm looking at Halliburton at 62. I don't mind that Fox price tag at 79. Still a little hobbled, still having his minutes limited slightly. So until we see them back up to 35 or 34, I can't touch it. So that's it, though. I'm going to those two guys.
Exactly the same with me, man.
Let's end it then, right there. On a good note. We agreed. So that's it, man. So if you guys have a quick second, you can give us a nice little follow on Twitter. We really appreciate it. You can find me at Mike Apotria, MikeApotria. You can find my main man, Brenton, over at Terrain72, TERRAIN72.
That's it, man.
All right, I got it. I think I butchered it. I think I messed it up last time, was it? But got it this time. We'll answer any questions you guys got. Shoot them at us. Fantasy, season long, DFS, you name it. We're around. We're just hoops guys looking to chat with some random people because we're losers. We got no life. That's why we love doing this stuff. It's honestly the most fun thing I could ever do. I dreamed about doing this as a kid, and now we get to do it. So I pinch myself for the position, the opportunity that we have, Brent. This is pretty fun to do. But it would be a lot more fun if we can, take a quick second and go look at our nice little reviews and see a couple extra 5 stars, some thumbs up, some subscribes. So, guys, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, you name it, wherever you are listening. We really do appreciate it. It means a lot. It allows us to kind of keep adding more content and keep doing new things. So if you could, give us a 5-star review. We really do appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow. I won't be. I'm off, but somebody will be. Santino will be on. So that is it. Brenton, I'll let you have the night off. I bet you probably thought I was going to let you close this one out. Not tonight, man.
Cool.
Not tonight. I'm just kidding. Close this out.
Oh, gee. You have been listening. Just throw me in that again, Mike. Yeah, that is a wrap. You've been listening to HoopBall's DFS Today. We are smashing your daily NBA fantasy every single day of the week. You can find us. Make sure you join us in the Discord server. Get yourself that fantasy pass and come and chat with some pros. Thank you for listening. NBA DFS Today. We are out of here.
I love catching you off guard. I got you that time. Thank you, guys. Take care.
This has been a HoopBall presentation.
Average weight loss 15.4 pounds in first 2 months. For guarantee cancel within first 14 days. Discount with 2 months of auto delivery. Food charged and shipped every 4 weeks. Call or see website for details.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BODY to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BODY to 323232. 3232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BODY to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BODY to 323232. That's BODY to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.